I don't know. I think I'm gonna put him over. Actually, I think I'm gonna put him over. I named the playoff teams, I named the division winners, but now I'm going to be ranking every single team 1 through 32. Once again, guys, this is an early prediction. So obviously a lot of things could still change. Teams could make some trades. Teams could make some more signings. A lot of things could still change. So obviously this is really early, and I will be making another video right before the season starts on this. So subscribe so you don't miss out that video, guys, and all these other videos I will be making. So make sure to play along with me down below. This is early. I promise you guys a lot of things are going to change here. But this is what I think of as of right now, as of all the trades, out of all the signings, this is right now. So don't get angry. Don't be typing at me. It is what it is, guys. Let's get straight into the video. It's going to be a long one, so make sure to buckle up. Let's go on a ride, baby. All right, guys, 1 through 32. This is gonna be so hard, but like I said before, this is early. This is not the final rankings. I promise you they will be changing right before the season, because this is recency bias. Like Penguins just made a huge trade, a lot of trades just happened, blah blah. It's gonna change, I'm telling you, but this is early. So as of what I think right now, let's get straight to it, guys. I want to keep you here too long. Number 32 here is gonna be the San Jose Sharks. I think they're the worst team in hockey. They just traded their best player away. I think this is quite obvious. I think they're gonna get 54 points this next year. It's not gonna be a great season for the Sharks, but I think they're gunning for first overall pick next year. I think they do get it, but San Jose, it's definitely on a downhill spiral, and I think they're gonna get the last spot next year for sure, at 54 points. Number 31 here is going to be the Philadelphia Flyers, guys. 59 points I say they're going to get. I think this team is so bad. I do like what Briere is doing. He is trying to be more aggressive with the team and trying to get more younger players, get more draft picks, trying to get better in general, because he was a Flyer. He's trying to make the team better. He wants his organization that he spent his basically whole career with better, and I love that. I love that for the Flyers. But hey, they're going to go through some growing pains, and right now I think that's part of it, and I think they're going to be really bad. So I think 59 points for them. As long as they can develop their young players, it's a W for them. Number 30 here is going to be the Montreal Canadiens here. I think they're going to get 60 points. I don't like how this team is. Yes, they have a lot of young players. Caulfield, hopefully he can take the next step. Suzuki is a very good player as well. But like the likes of Safkovsky, he says he's going to have a really good season. But is he going to have a good season, man? Is he? Goaltender situation, it's still Jake Allen, Sam Montembeault. Not a good goalie duo at all. You need a younger goaltender to just hopefully try to take the net from those two. Do you guys have that? Is it Caden Primo? Is that him? I don't think so. Obviously, you guys did just make the big trade with the Penguins. You're a part of it. You got Jeff Petrie. You got Casey DeSmith. So Casey DeSmith, well, he will add a good goalie, a depth for you guys. You guys are probably trading Petrie right away. So who knows what you guys get for that. But as long as you guys keep getting more prospects, more draft picks for the future, it is definitely going to help. But overall, this team is not very good, guys. I feel like we know this. Obviously, it's one of the biggest teams in the NHL, and they're just not a good team right now. I'm sorry, they're just not a good team right now. Number 29, guys, is going to be the Chicago Blackhawks. I think they're going to get 64 points. Obviously, they have some good players. They have Connor Bedard, so you just rebuild this, jump a couple years, getting a generational talent. But generational talent, as we know, we all thought Lafreniere was going to be unreal, and the Rangers obviously ruined that guy's career. But now, Bedard, they have Taylor Hall with them. Hopefully he will be playing with them, have a good player at least around him. I don't know if he's a good leader. I don't know if Taylor Hall would be a good leader or not, but either way, we have Corey Perry there. You guys have some older veterans there as well to help Connor Bedard develop, because you guys need that. You don't want to jump into a really good team like Lafreniere did and just basically ruin your career. But Bedard, he's gonna be obviously a superstar in this NHL. As long as you guys keep building around him, you guys are gonna be fine. But as of now, like, do you guys have top prospects? I know you guys did draft a lot of players last year, so you guys have these prospects. Hopefully they can turn out to be good pieces with Connor Bedard in your rebuild. As of now, it is a rebuild. So number 29 is definitely where you guys are going to be at. Number 28 here is going to be the Anaheim Ducks. I think they're going to get 65 points. I don't think they're a good team. Trevor Zegras is obviously very good. Troy Terry is very good. He's just got the bag, which is good for him. John Gibson, I heard rumors that he, like earlier on in the offseason, he didn't want to be there anymore. He wanted to be traded. I don't know how true those are, but either way, like, he's not the greatest goalie when the defensive front were absolutely horrible, and I feel like that really hasn't changed. Obviously, you have added Alex Killorn, so you guys did get a little better, little veteran presence as well, but that's not going to push you over the edge. To be honest with you, you're still going to be bottom of the NHL, but hey, you guys kind of want to be there. Hopefully, Leo Carlsson can develop the way you want him to, because you guys skipped on Fantilli, so you guys better be right on Carlsson. You better be right, or your fan base is never going to let it go. You guys skipped on one of the best prospects of scoring in the NHL, and you guys skipped on it for Leo Carlsson. So hopefully Leo Carlsson can produce well, you guys are gonna get roasted, but it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. I feel like those bottom 5 teams are clear-cut bottom. I feel like there's a clear jump up for the next tier of teams, and those are definitely the worst teams in the NHL. Let's go to 27, where I think it jumps to the tiers, and I honestly, it could flip-flop, man. From 27 probably all the way up to like 20, I could see teams flip-flopping. So this is gonna be tough, and some teams fan bases are gonna be very, very mad at me in the comments, but it is what it is. 27, I'm gonna say, is the St. Louis Blues, man. 75 points, so there's a big jump up on points there, but I like this team. There's a couple good, obviously you have a couple good players on this team. I like you guys really didn't do anything in the offseason. You just added Kevin Hayes, who's actually a pretty damn good player, but you only have Robert Thomas. You still have Torrey Krug, I guess, but you still have Jordan Binnington in that, guys. That is a big issue. Jordan Binnington is not a good goalie. He's just, I don't know if he's bad in the locker room, but he can't be good morale in the locker room, fighting everyone, just complaining every goal. Like, he can't be good in the locker room. But you guys do obviously have some good players. Obviously led by Robert Thomas. You guys did obviously trade Tarasenko. Obviously you guys still have some skilled players. You still have Jordan Kyrou, Braden Shen is still there, you have Buchnevich, you have Brandon Saad still, Kasperi Kapanen is still a skilled player. But like, other than that, guys, like, do you have any superstars? Jake Neighbors, he's solid. Like, it's not great. The depth on the team, not great at all. Jacob Verana, he's not bad at all either. The defense is very, very old. Krug, Falk, Pararenko, Nicoletti, Scandella, Bertuzzo. Like, it's a very, very old defense, and I just don't like Binnington, man. I feel like Binnington is a very big issue, and that the depth on the team is not going to be good. Obviously, I feel like this is pretty low for the team, so I bet you they will change that, because their top 6 is pretty damn good, and adding a really good goal scorer as well is definitely going to help. But obviously, I think I put them too low. I think I definitely put them too low, but it is what it is. That's what the final one is for, just to fix these mistakes. But it is what it is. Right now, they're at 27. Number 26 is going to be the Washington Capitals. They are tied in points with 75. I don't like this Capitals team. I'm being honest with you. I say this all the time. Yes, they have a couple good players, but they're older. I feel like they only care about Ovi getting that goal record. I don't know why. I just keep saying this, and I feel like it's completely true. They have Ovi. Backstrom's a fossil. Kuznetsov, I heard rumors again, like he doesn't want to be there. Is that true? I don't really know, but it's possible. I could definitely see him not wanting to be there anymore. TJ Oshie's getting old, and obviously he's 36 years old. Anthony Mantha, he's not that great. Let's be real here. Tom Wilson signed a huge contract, really bad contract. I'm being honest. He's 29 years old. That is not going to be a good contract in probably 2 or 3 years. That is not a good contract at all. But other than that, guys, like, who else do you have? Dylan Strome, solid. Who else? John Carlson on the back end. I get it. Sandin showed some good games last year. Who else? Darcy Kemper, he's a solid goaltender. I don't like this team. I'll be honest with you. It's not because I'm a Penguins fan. It's not that. I promise you, it's not me being biased about the Capitals. I promise you, it's not. This team's not very good. This team's not very good, and they're going to show that next year. I get you have Pacioretty. Who knows how he's going to be? He might get hurt right away. He might tear it up. Who knows? Low risk, high reward. That's good. I like the acquisition right there. Other than that, I don't like this team at all, and I feel like Capitals fans, you're going to be mad, but it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good in Washington for the next couple of years. 25 here is going to be the Arizona Coyotes, man. Actually, I like this team. I'm not just saying this because it's my brother's team. This team got way better, guys. This team got way better. Look at these additions that they put up. They added my brother Zucker. They added Kerfoot. They still have Michelli. They still have Keller. They still have Schmaltz. They just added Matthew Dumba on the back end. Sean Jersey is here. Obviously, the defense is still pretty weak. I get it. But the team got better. That's all you could really ask for. Team wasn't horrible last year. They weren't good. They weren't horrible last year. But now they got a better defense, so maybe that means Vejmelka will be better. The top 6 got way better. Logan Cooley is here. Unreal player. How is he going to do? Barrett Hayton might take the next step. This team is going to be solid. Michelli was a very, very good player last year. He's going to take the next step. This team is going to be solid. Tough barn to play in at Mullet Arena. It's going to be a tough barn to play in. Obviously, they're not the greatest team. I get it. But they're telling you right now, they're going to improve. They're going to improve. I'm going to watch every single Arizona game next year. But this team's going to be good. I'm telling you right now, this team's going to be solid. I'm not telling you they're not going to be making playoffs. But there's a chance, man, because the Central Division is very, very weak. You gotta watch out for them pesky Yotes, man. We gotta watch out for them pesky Yotes. Number 24 here is gonna be the Detroit Red Wings. I do like some of these additions I do have, but obviously adding Alex DeBrincat, a very good goal scorer. Obviously he didn't produce last year in Ottawa. We don't know why though. Like, why did he not produce last year? Was it a chemistry issue? Was it because he didn't have a superstar around him issue? I don't know. He's going to be playing with, obviously, is he going to be with Dylan Larkin? Probably with Dylan Larkin. So I think he's going to be reducing. He's probably going to have another 35-goal year. This team's going to be solid, man. This team's good. But I feel like it's a depth issue again on this team. I feel like depth, goal scoring might not be the best. You're obviously hoping Saturdar can take the next step. Hopefully Raymond can come back this season and pop off and have a really, really good year. The defense is really hit or miss, in my opinion. You have Gostisbehere. You have Justin Hall. How is he going to do without being in Toronto anymore, without all the press around him every waking moment? Oli Mata, he's still here. It's obviously it's Saturd's blue line, man. It's Saturd's blue line. So hopefully he can take advantage of that and keep producing, man, and keep getting better. He really needs to do that. Obviously, Husso in net is a big question mark. Can he produce like we know he can? Last year he was very inconsistent, so if he can keep consistent, this team can be very good. JT Compher, Andrew Kopp, the forwards aren't bad, man. The forwards aren't bad. Top six is not bad if Perron can keep producing at 35, or Robbie Fabry can keep producing. So this team could be good if the depth can produce and the defense can stay solid with Bill Husso playing good in net. But that's a lot of ifs on the Detroit Red Wings. You got to trust the process of Yzerman. You got to trust the process, and you got to do that. But I still think it's going to take a couple years for the Red Wings. I'm going to put them at 24th. Number 23 here, guys, is going to be the Vancouver Canucks. I think they're going to get 83 points. This team is solid, man. I always say this every time I talk about the Canucks. They're good on paper. They just need to produce it on the ice. I think this year might be a little difference for the Canucks. They got better defensively, which was a huge issue for the last coming years, right? Demko never had a good defense in front of him. Obviously, it's not the greatest defense, but they added Ian Cole, and they got Carson Soucy as well. So very good. Okay, I wouldn't say very good, but Carson Soucy is actually a very underrated defenseman, and Ian Cole is a very good veteran presence who's won a Stanley Cup or two. I think he won 2 in Pittsburgh, actually. Maybe 1, but he's a Stanley Cup winner, so he can show that to the Canucks. Obviously, Quinn Hughes, very good as his blue line. Hopefully, can keep that blue line. The forwards, man, are pretty damn good. You still have JT Miller. You still have Pettersson. Hopefully, Brock Besser can be fully healthy, because I hope for that. Connor Garland, he's not really looking well on this team. Maybe he could buy into a role even more and hopefully produce. Anthony Bolivier actually been pretty damn good in the little amount of games he did play for you. Teddy Bluger is a solid third line player, maybe even slip down to a fourth line player if he has to buy into a role. That's the thing with Teddy Bluger. He has to buy into his role. He really didn't buy into his role in Pittsburgh, even in Vegas. So if he can buy into a role and fit well with the team, he's gonna be very, very good. Other than that, there might be some depth issues on the bottom 6 with this team. Hoglander could be solid, but really other than that, it could be a big issue. But the defense, I feel like, is gonna be quite solid with their Hronik, Soucy, like I said before, Ian Cole. It could be solid, man. It could be solid on this team. They just got to produce. Thatcher Demko needs to stay healthy, or he's a good goaltender. If he's healthy and have a good defense in front of him, he is healthy. He's a good, solid goaltender. Not top 5 in the NHL, but he's a solid goaltender. So if everything goes right with this team, stay healthy, top 6 can get chemistry, bottom 6 can somewhat produce, and defense not suck, this team could maybe slide into a wild card. I might change them up in my final ranking, but I think the Canucks might be on the rise next year. Number 22, guys, this is gonna be the Calgary Flames. I think they're gonna get 85 points. This team is hit or miss for me. This team is still solid, and as of now, they still have these players that do not want to play there next year. So who knows if their GM is going to make some trades, because obviously you have Eli Lindholm, who does not want to sign next year. You have Backlund, who does not want to sign next year. You have Noah Hanifin, that does not want to sign next year. You have a lot of UFAs on the back end that might not want to resign there next year. The only one that you have one long term is Rasmus Anderson and Mackenzie Weegar. Like, what are they going to do seeing all their teammates not want to be there next year and might not sign next year? Canada might not sign next year. Zadorov might not sign next year. And those other people, like I named, already said they don't want to sign there next year. So are there going to be trades? Who knows? If they have a bad start to the year, do they just sell at the trade deadline? It's definitely possible, man. It's definitely possible. Sell these guys to a contender. I can definitely see that. But you guys still have a good team, man. You still have Jonathan Huberdeau, Kadri. You still have Majapani, who's solid. Blake Coleman, he's all right. But obviously, with those 3 that I did say that do not want to sign next year, they're still really good players. Maybe not Michael Backlund anymore. He's not the best anymore. But Elias Lindholm is so good. Noah Hanifin is very, very good. This team could be solid if they buy in, but I feel like the locker room is not bought in. I feel like it was like that last year, and I feel like it will be like that this year. So I feel like I might have to put them lower next time, but it is what it is because they still have all these players. So once again, guys, the final ranking is going to be crazy. But for now, I'm going to put the Flames at 22. 21 is going to be the Winnipeg Jets. I think they're going to get 85 points, the same thing as the Flames. I think this team is very mid. Very mid. They still have Hellebuck. They still have Scheifele. Obviously, Wheeler's out of here now. But they still have Kyle Connor. They still have some of these good players. Nikolai Ehlers is still here. Alex Alafalo, how is he going to do? He was pretty damn good in LA. Can he produce there in Canada? Niederreiter is a very solid forward. Like I said before, it's very mid. No superstar besides Kyle Connor. Scheifele is pretty damn good, but he's getting up there in age as well. And obviously you have Hellebuck. But 1 year left on Hellebuck. 1 year left on Scheifele. If you guys are going bad in the middle of the season, is there a possible trade? I would not be surprised if you guys start slow or halfway through the year. If you guys are not looking like a playoff team, you guys are going to trade. Why wouldn't you want to trade for Hellebuck? Like it's hard. It's hard for trading for Hellebuck during the season. Maybe like a Pittsburgh. Say Tristan Jarry gets hurt. Boom. Here, we'll offer you Hellebuck. You know what I mean? And boom, 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 boom. Kyle Dubas will fleece you somehow. But this team is not bad. Top 6 wise is pretty damn solid. Bottom 6 might be an issue, but you guys do have some pretty good scorers. Mason Appleton, Lowry is solid. Nemestikov can put up the puck sometimes. Kupari. You guys have a decent team. Defense might be a big issue. Morrissey, Schmidt, Pionk, Dylan is getting a bit older. DeMelo's solid. Obviously, Morrissey, can he produce like he did last year? It's going to be a tough ask for him, but he's a very, very good defenseman. So I think that's a very mid. A lot of changes could happen if the season starts slow. A lot of things could happen in Winnipeg, so I'm going to have to put him at 21. 20 is going to be the Nashville Predators. I think they're going to get 87 points. This team is in a very weird spot in the organization because the year prior, they sold at the trade deadline, but now they just bought in the offseason. They added some good players, Ryan O'Reilly, Luke Shen, Gustav Nyquist, very good additions. And they still have a very good team around them. You still have Forsberg. You still have UC Saros on the back end. You still have Roman Josi leading your blue line. These guys are pretty damn good, but the bottom 6 is very, very weak on this team. Your best bottom 6 guy, maybe Dennis Goranov could pop off. Tomasino is solid. Trennan, how is he going to do? Obviously, Cody Glass, he's hit or miss. He's really is a hit or miss. The defense is very, very solid, though. I will give you that. Brian McDonough, Tyson Barrie, Luke Shen, Roman Josi, Alex Carrier, Dante Fabro, and Lazan, honestly. That's a very, very good decor. So I will give you that. I think you guys will win a lot of games from him and UC Saros. So very good defensive side of the puck. But I feel like you guys are not going to be able to score as many goals as you think. Brian O'Reilly, very good player. Nyquist, good addition. Sissons, Cody Glass, like Trennan, like there's a lot of issues with goal scoring on this team. I feel like that will definitely be a big issue next year. Defense solid. I think you're going to play defensive brand of hockey next year. And I think you'll be struggling to score goals. I think that's the problem, but I think defense will win you a lot of games and get you up to 20. Number 19 here is going to be the Columbus Blue Jackets, guys. I know you guys are very, very passionate and you think you're going to do really good next year. I think you guys will have a very improved season next year. You guys did get better in the offseason. You guys added Provorov, you added Severson. Obviously, you did get Fantilli as well. I think I'm a huge Fantilli fan. I think he will be a huge addition. I think he's going to score 30 goals next year. I think the Ducks are going to be so upset that they did not take him and took Leo Carlsson. So you guys are definitely happy about that. I think he's going to be your face of the franchise for the next 15 years. I think he is going to be that guy, especially because he wanted to be there. I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to go to Ohio. Oh, I don't want to go to Columbus. He wanted to be there. So that is huge for you guys because he's going to build that fan base together. And you guys are going to love him. So I think that's huge for you guys. Obviously, Gaudreau, he's going to have a way better season than he did last year, even though he had a pretty solid season. But I feel like you got the shell of Gaudreau last year. Hopefully, they can stay healthy. That's a huge thing. You guys had a lot of injuries last year early on, which really slowed down your season, to be honest with you. Patrick Laine, he showed really good games for you guys last year. Obviously, he did get hurt. So obviously, hopefully, he can stay healthy. The depth might be an issue, like I did say before, but Ken Johnson, you guys still have. Obviously, I talked about Fantilli already. Marchenko's very, very solid. Foodie is very, very solid. I don't know if I said that wrong. Sorry. But you guys have some solid players here. Top 6 might not be the best. So goal scoring might be an issue. Defense, it did get better. Erica Branson's very solid. Boquist is solid. Merzlikins he's a question mark. You don't know how he's going to be. Obviously, you still have Zach Werenski. Very, very good. But Merzlikins is a question mark. You don't know how good he's going to be. The defense isn't the best in front of him. So if he can stay consistent, this team could sneak into the wildcard spot for sure. But I feel like the goal scoring might be an issue for this team. So hopefully Fantilli can maybe fill out for that. Maybe he could take them to the next step. But as of now, I'm going to put them at 19. I think that's a very, very solid spot for the Blue Jackets. Number 18 is going to be the New York Islanders, guys. I think they're going to get 92 points. This Eastern Conference is going to be so tough. So tough. You guys have a good team, but you guys never do anything in the offseason. You guys just bought in on your players you have now, and it might have been a bold strategy because you You guys didn't improve. You guys are just betting on your team last year and hoping they get better. And will they get better? That's the thing. Will they get better? Obviously, you have Barzal, you have Bo Horvat, you still have Anders Lee. Brock Nelson was your leading scorer last year. He cannot be your leading scorer next year. Obviously, he's a very, very good player. But you need Barzal, you need Horvat to take the next step with his team and take over. You guys need them to get 80 points. Isn't like your top scorer always like 70 points? That's not good enough. You need someone breaking into the 90 points, the 100 points club. You need that for this team. Obviously, I feel like you guys aren't built for that though. But the depth on the team is not the greatest. I think Pierre Engvall is going to be on your second or third line. I'm sorry, he's a fourth line player at best, and you guys sign a long-term $3 million. It is what it is. But if he's on your second line, you guys have some issues. Kyle Palmieri, he's all right. Peugeot, I feel like he hasn't really turned out like you guys really thought he would have from Ottawa. I feel like he could have been better so far. But your defense is very, very solid. Same thing with your goaltender. Obviously, you have a top 3 goalie in Sorokin, maybe even number 1. It's very debatable that he could be number 1. But you have Pollock, Pellick, Dobson, Mayfield, Romanov, Aho. Very good defensive core. That's a huge issue. That's how you guys play. You play defense first. And that is a big issue because come playoff time, you guys can't score the needed goal sometimes against these top tier teams. And that is a big issue sometimes. But hopefully the forwards can pop off somehow. I don't like it though. I don't like it. Bottom 6. You have that known fourth line with Cizikas, Clutterbuck, Martin. I get it, but they're getting older now. The youngest of them was 32 with Cizikas. Pierre Engvall, he's solid, but I just don't see the goal scoring on this team. Maybe Wallstrom can take the next step, but you guys have been waiting for that for years. You just need Barzal and Horvat to take over this team. I'm telling you right now. I think it's going to be a tough season for you guys. You guys are going to be right on the edge of the wild card spot every single time. That's how you guys work. And you guys somehow always sneak in. But this year might be changed. So I'm going to put you guys where I did at 18, and we'll see how it goes from there. Number 17 here is going to be the Buffalo Sabres, guys. 93 points I'm putting them at. This team is very, very good. Obviously, last year they barely missed out on the playoffs, and they have a very, very young team. Obviously, your team is led by Rasmus Dahlin, Tage Thompson, Cousins, Victor Olofsson. Look how young these players are, guys. Obviously, Dahlin took the next step last year, but he has the next step. I said this in the prior video, and you guys actually got upset with me. I said, Dahlin, he needs to take the next step. I get he took a next step last year, but he has the Cale Makar next step, guys. He doesn't just have, oh, he's a number 1 defenseman on the team. No. He can be the number 1 defenseman in the league. He can take the Cale Makar step, and I think he has it in him. And I think the next year might be his year for that. But look at the defense here. It's a little iffy, guys. Let's be real here. The defense is a little iffy. You have Dahlin. Obviously, you have Owen Power. He needs to take the next step. Obviously, it was his first year. A lot of things can still happen this next year. Eric Johnson, he's a good veteran presence, so I'm glad you guys actually added him because he's a very good veteran guy that can help this team. Matthias Samuelsson, you guys paid him. He's a very good defenseman. Hopefully he can keep jumping up to where we know he can. Clifton, he's a solid D-man. He's not gonna be that great. Let's be here. He's not the best defenseman. You guys paid him 3 for the next 3 years, but he's not gonna be the best defenseman, I'll be honest with you. Yoki Haru, I feel like we all know his ceiling so far. It's not the greatest. But other than that, you have 2 goalies that are gonna be fighting for the first spot. But like these guys, are they ready yet? Is Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen ready yet? Is Devin Levi ready yet? If they're not, you have Eric Comrie in net. That is not the greatest. You know what I mean? So hopefully one of these younger goaltenders are ready to take over the crease and never let it go. And if that is true, playoffs are coming your way. I'm being honest with you. If the goalie situation is not good in Buffalo next year, give it a year, right? Give it a year and just hope for the best. But if it is ready, we're going to playoffs in Buffalo. You know what I mean? But as long as we can get the scoring, the depth on this team is not the greatest. Payne Krebs, I can't really tell how he is. He's hit or miss sometimes. Sometimes he looks incredible. Sometimes he looks completely lost. Tyson Jost, I feel like we know his ceiling. But other than that, man, like we obviously have Casey Middleside who's solid. Greenway is solid. Tuck is very, very solid. Olofsson is solid. Dylan Cousins is unreal. Tage Thompson is unreal. And obviously Jeff Skinner, we know Jeff Skinner. So I think you'll be right next to the wild card and competing with these top tier teams in the Eastern Conference. It's going to be very, very tough because it's going to be a very, very tight race. And you guys will be right part of that race. So it's not a bad ranking for you guys. I promise you that. Number 16 is going to be the Stanley Cup losers, the Florida Panthers, guys. This team didn't do too much in the offseason, but did they do enough? Obviously, the goaltender situation, obviously, is probably the biggest question mark on this team is Bobrovsky. Will Bobrovsky show up like he did last year in the playoffs and be that consistent? I think this team is going to go either 2 ways. I think they're going to start really hot and then bad, or start really bad and end hot like they did last year, right? They started bad, a lot of injuries, just didn't get the chemistry right, and they popped off towards the end of the year, right? And obviously made that huge run to the Stanley Cup Finals. But now look at this defensive team here, guys. It's not the greatest, it's not the worst. So you have Mahura, you still have Ekblad, you have Montour. Obviously those two are injured for the beginning part of the season. That's why I'm saying it might be iffy part of the season for you guys, because you guys do have a lot of injuries coming from that final last year. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, how's he going to do? I like Mike Riley. I think he's a very solid third D pairing. I think he could be very, very good for you guys. Kulikov is back as well. Gustav Forsling is solid, but it's very mid-tier defensemen besides Montour and Ekblad, and maybe even Ekman-Larsson if he can rekindle his career and get back to his former self. Obviously, he's 32 years old, so who knows? But it's a low risk reward. It's a low risk, high reward 1-year deal. It's whatever. Forwards here, obviously you have Kachuk, you have Barkov, Sam Reinhart, unreal players, Sam Bennett, Carter Verhaeghe, very good players. Evan Rodriguez, great addition. Luce Rannon, solid. Bottom six might be an issue. Anton Lundell, hopefully he can take the next step. He's a very, very good prospect. Lomberg is might be a depth issue again, guys. Might be a depth issue. Goaltender, Spencer Knight, maybe he can come back and hopefully he can be back all good with his stuff. I don't want to go too into that, but whatever. But his goaltender situation might be bad, but I feel like they're gonna start slow and everyone's be like, oh yeah, Panthers are done. Then they're gonna come up again, guys. I think they're gonna come up again like they did last year. So you can't sleep on the Panthers. Number 15, guys, is gonna be the Ottawa Senators. This team is very, very good. Obviously I made a huge video on them before. I really like this roster and how they're built. I like how the GM is going all in, going for these big acquisitions. I like this a lot. Tim Stutzla, unreal. Brady Tkachuk, unreal. Claude Giroux, he's a very, very solid player still. Tarasenko, great addition. I don't know how he's going to fit, but why not? Like, why? He's not going to be bad. You know what I mean? He's not going to be bad. He's going to add goal scoring to this team, which you already have a lot of. Drake Batherson, Josh Norris. I know a lot of you are saying, oh, he wasn't like, he's not going to put up 40 again, or he's not going to put up 35 again. He probably won't, but he's going to give you 25, and he's going to give you another offensive threat on the second line or third line. He's going to give you another offensive threat, which is huge. Dominic Kubalik, what can he do on this team is going to be very, very interesting. I'm very excited about that. Shane Pinto is very, very solid. Defense is really, really good on this team too, guys. Shabbat, Chikrin, Zub, I think it was Zub. Brandstrom, hopefully he can take the next step, because he had a lot of hype coming into his Vegas career. Obviously did get traded for the Stone trade, but I feel like he hasn't lived up to the hype, and maybe, I don't know. I have no idea why. But you got to give him another chance, man. Why not give him another chance? Obviously you still have Jake Sanderson, who's an unreal player. So your defense, top four is unreal, guys, and maybe Brandstrom can really put in work on that third D pairing. But goalie situation, like I said this before, Korpisalo. You guys are saying it's not a high risk contract. It is. He's a high risk player because you guys need to win. This team is not meant, give him 2 to 3 years. I'm sorry. This team is not meant for that. This team is, we need to make the playoffs now. Obviously, you guys do have young players, and you guys do have a future with them. But you have a Tarasenko, you have a Giroux, where you need to win now with them. You need to take that next step. You can't be going to 24th. You can't be getting 24th overall. You can't be doing that. You need to make the playoffs this year. So Korpisalo has to be good. That's why I think it's a high-risk contract with him, because he has to be good. This is a high-risk season for Jonas Korpisalo. He has to be good this year. You guys can't afford to be bottom 10 of the NHL again. You guys need to make the playoffs, and this is your best chance in a long time for you guys to make the playoffs. So that is a W. This team is really good. I really, really do like them, and I think playoffs could definitely be in their horizon. Number 14, guys, is going to be the Minnesota Wild with 96 points. I don't love this roster. I say this every single time about this team. I get they're in a little cap issue with Suter and Parese's contract being bought out, but they just lost Dumba. He's not the greatest defenseman anymore. I do get that, but the forwards depth is not here. You have Kaprizov, unreal player. You have Matthew Boldy, unreal player. Other than that, obviously Eric Zanek was a very, very good player last year, and you do have Hartman, who has shown very good flashes. Marcus Foligno, very good power forward that could produce as well. Zuccarello, sometimes he can produce very, very well, but he's also 35 years old, so maybe he can get the same chemistry with Kaprizov that he did last year. That'd be huge. That'd be huge for you guys. Frederick Gaudreau, he's a shootout merchant. But Marco Rossi, he hasn't showed much, I'm being honest with you. Patrick Maroon, he's going to be a good veteran presence for these young guys, so hopefully maybe he can get a Marco Rossi going, or maybe he can get Matthew Boldy to even the next step, which is even scarier. But look at the defense here. Jared Spurgeon, Jonas Brodin, very good players, obviously. Other than that, Kalen Addison, he's a very good, solid prospect, and hopefully he could produce that on the ice. long term in the NHL. Brock Faber, has a lot of hype to his name. Can he produce like he's supposed to? Who really knows? We don't really know. I don't think he's played a couple games. John Merrill, Goligoski, Middleton, Defense is very mid on this team, and the goalie situation is actually pretty damn solid. Phillips Gustafson and Marc-Andre Fleury had a really good season last year. Obviously in playoffs it did not produce really well, but really good goalies. This is the last dance for Fleury, so hopefully he can make the playoffs. I love Flower, man. We love Flower around here. But Gustafson, hopefully he can live up to that contract. This is a smaller contract for his really good season last year, so hopefully he can do that again. But I just don't like this team, but they are in a very, very weak division, so I can see them making playoffs because they're really, like, it's just an easy division, man. Let's be real. The Central is not the hardest division. But yeah, they have a couple good players, but the depth on this team, I don't like it, man. I don't like it. I'm being honest with you. I would not be surprised if the Arizona Coyotes can maybe slip up from the Wild. Number 13 here, guys, is going to be the Pittsburgh Penguins. I did move them up since the Karlsson trade. It's a big trade, but there's a lot of question marks on this trade. Karlsson and Letang, how are they going to work out together? Obviously, it does mean Karlsson and Letang, they're going to be on the ice for probably, 45 minutes a game, one of them, which is going to be huge for the team because obviously they're two star players. Your team didn't get worse. Obviously, that trade, I just made a video on it previously. This team got better. We traded two of our worst contracts with Petrie and Granlund, who were honestly really, really bad. We traded Casey DeSmith away. We didn't need him anymore, so thank you, bye Casey. We got Nedeljkovic, who's a solid backup goaltender. But obviously, this goes on Tristan Jarry. We need Tristan Jarry to stay healthy and stay consistent. We've seen patches of his games where he was unreal, all-star. He was unreal. Obviously, I think we have good scoring on this team. Our depth got better from last year. It's not the greatest depth. It's not like we had the best depth in the NHL when we were in Stanley Cups. No. We have good depth. It's not the greatest, let's be real here. But obviously with Getzel is hurt for the first probably 10 games of the year. So hopefully we can have a Riley Smith step up. We can have a Alex Nylander step up, Drew O'Connor step up in the lineup, something like that, to get us extra goal scoring. But I like our team. I think our defense got way improved, which was our huge downfall last year. I'm just hoping the Tang and Karlsson can fit together. If they do, it's going to gel perfectly, guys. Our power play is going to be back with like Phil Kessel days with Karlsson, maybe on the right run timer. That'd be huge. I think we get 98 points. Let's go Penguins, baby. Let's go Penguins, baby. Stanley Cup, number 4 for Crosby. I hope so. Number 12, guys, is going to be the Seattle Kraken. This team it's not a team full of superstars, but they just buy into the right system, and they're all pretty good players. I mean, they don't have superstar players. None of them are like, yeah, that guy's a superstar. They don't have a Crosby. They don't have a franchise guy. I'm being honest with you. They're just all really solid players that fit in well together, and they had the chemistry, and they all work really, really hard, which is why I love Seattle. They have Jordan Eberle, solid player. Jaden Schwartz, solid. Borkstein, solid. Gorge, solid. Jared McCann, very good season last year. Can he put a 40 again? We'll see. He's a very, very good shooter. Wenberg's very, very good. Tanev, very energy guy, which was very good on any team. Tolvanen had a really good season last year. Obviously, Matthew Beniers on rear. Beniers is so good. Can he take the next step? Hopefully, he does not have a sophomore slump. I don't think he will. This team is going to be very, very good for him. Defense got worse, though. I do not like that about this team. This team did get way worse. Vince Dunn obviously that's his blue line, man. That's his team's blue line. Alexiak is solid. Adam Larson is solid. Dumoulin came from Pittsburgh. He's not the greatest defenseman anymore, but maybe he can rekindle his career like he was back in the Stanley Cup days in Pittsburgh. If he can do that, he's a very solid defenseman. He's very slow. Puck turnovers a lot, but maybe he can change the scenery. Might change him. Might help him. Who knows? Justin Schultz, he's a very solid defenseman. Cale Fleury, solid. Other than that, Borgen is solid as well. Defense is all right. It's all right. Goalie situation, Philip Grubauer, Drager. Grubauer, people are saying he's so good. He's not so good. I'll be honest with you. The defense in front of him definitely help him. And if they can stay solid, he can make the needed saves. He's not going to make the far diving save like a Vasilevsky. He's not going to be doing that. But hey, they went far last year. They lost in this game 7 of the second round last year. Can they get farther this year? I would not be surprised. This team, it's a hard place to play in Seattle. Their fans are crazy. Fans are super passionate. You love that. Team is very passionate about it too. I love the passionate feeling of this team. They all bought into the same system and they lock in together, and they're one big family. You could tell that about the Seattle Kraken. So that's why I have them this high. Seattle, they're very fun to watch as well. So that is that for this Kraken. Number 11 is going to be the Boston Bruins, guys. I think they're going to have a big downfall next year, and I think they get 100 points. Obviously, that is not a bad season for them. They did lose a lot of players, so this is pretty damn reasonable, I guess. They lost Bergeron, their captain. I get it. They lost Bertuzzi. They lost Orlov as well. This team doesn't have that much depth. I'm going to be honest with you. David Pastrnak, unreal player. Best player on the team. I get it. Unreal. Top 5 player in the NHL. Brad Marchand, very, very good player. 35. I still don't think he's lost a step. He's going to be very, very good. Charlie Coyle is going to be your second line center. That's when I start don't liking about this team. You guys lost a lot of depth. Pavel Zacha, solid. DeBrusk, solid. He's going to be playing for another contract. Is he going to stay in Boston next year? I don't really know. But Trent Frederick, Morgan Geekie, he has some glimpses of good. I guess he's been good sometimes. Milan Lucic, he's not good anymore. Let's be real here. JVR, you're really hoping he can be very, very solid and get the goal scoring touch back. That's what you guys are really hoping on. Low risk, high reward. I guess it's low risk because you guys do need him to play a very advanced role. Other than that, guys, I don't like this team. Where's the bottom six? Even the top six. Besides that first line, I love Charlie Coyle. He's not a second line center. I mean, maybe he could. He's already 31. Is he going to really improve himself to be a top tier second line center? I'm not seeing it happen. I'm being honest with you. I'm not seeing it happen. Unless Bergeron comes out of retirement halfway through the year after seeing them do bad. I don't really know, man. The defense here is pretty damn solid, though. McAvoy, Lindholm, Carlo, Grzelcyk, Forbert, Zaboral, Kevin Shattenkirk. Like, it's very solid defense. And honestly, even talking about goaltenders here, Linus Ullmark, he's not going to have that good of a year like he did last year. Obviously, I'm not saying he's going to be bad. He's not going to be bad. He's not going to have a historic level goaltender performance like he did last year. It's just not going to happen. It's just not reasonable. So I think it's going to be an issue, guys. Tough division, tough conference. I think the Bruins are going to fall down. They'll still make playoffs most likely, but they're going to be in that dogfight, guys. They're going to be in that dogfight, and they do got some dogs on their team, but can they win the dogfight? Number 10, guys, is going to be the Tampa Bay Lightning, guys. They have all the superstars still. Obviously, they did get worse on their little depth. They lost Killorn, but they still have Stamkos. You still have Braden Point. You still have Hedman. You still have Vasilevsky. You still have all these top tier players, guys. You still have Cirelli. Top tier players that got more rest in the offseason, guys. The last 3 years, they made the Stanley Cup Finals, right? That's very, very tough on the body. You guys do not understand how tough that is on the body. And they did it 3 years in a row. And now they finally had a full offseason, basically. Losing in the first round, they had a full offseason of rest. And they're going to be so much hungrier to get back there, man. They're going to get right back there. And I think they're going to win a couple playoff series this time. I feel like they're going to make the playoffs and win a couple series with these superstars. The depth got worse. I get it. You guys got Josh Archibald. You have Connor Sheary, Brandon Hagel. Hopefully he can. You guys gave up a lot for him. Hopefully he can turn the next step. Same thing with Tanner Jeannot. You guys gave up a lot for him. So hopefully he is worth the trade you guys really gave up for him. But it's not a bad team here. You still have Vasilevsky in that. Unreal. You have Victor Hedman at the back end with Sergachev, solid. Cernak is solid. Perbix is solid. Bogosian is all right. DeHaan is all right. Hayden Fleury is all right. It's a good team. It's a good round. It's a well-built team. Very, very well coached. I think this team will go far next year. I think playoffs, it shouldn't be questioned. It shouldn't be questioned. Number 9 is going to be the New York Rangers. I think they're going to go 105 points. This team, man, it's very hit or miss for me because they have a good team on paper. You have Panarin, you have Zibanejad, you have Kreider, you have Trocheck, you have Adam Fox, you have Trouba, you have Shesterkin and net. But for some reason, like, they're a good regular season team. They just can't win in the playoffs. Obviously, they did go to the conference finals. I get it. But last year wasn't bad performance. You guys, I get it. Devils are a really good team. But their first year making playoffs with that young core, you guys should have won that. You guys got embarrassed. I'm being honest with you. You guys dominated the first two games in New Jersey, and you guys just let off the gas completely. That should not happen. That cannot happen. You guys got smacked at MSG, guys. That cannot happen. The depth on this team is quite an issue. Lafreniere, he's solid, but like, is he ever going to take the next step? Because he's not getting the second line minutes. He's not getting those minutes like he needed to develop right. Kakko, he's hit or miss, man. He's not the greatest, but then sometimes, okay, like Kakko, like we see you, Kakko. You guys have Bonino. He's not the greatest anymore. He's obviously 35 years old. Cheadle, same thing with Kakko and Lafreniere. Like, what is he gonna do? Like, shows good glimpses, but other times he doesn't. The defense is hit or miss as well. Keandre Miller, that guy is so good. I want him on the Penguins so bad. Like, I would love Keandre Miller. That guy is so underrated. I always, time I watch the Rangers or talk about the Rangers, I tell you guys how good he is. And he doesn't get the love, man. He doesn't get the love. Lindgren doesn't get the love either, man. I don't like the Rangers at all. I hate them. But you guys don't get the love because Lindgren is really, really good player. And obviously Shesterkin is a top tier goalie. He's probably top 5, top 3 at times in the NHL. But sometimes he's not, right? Sometimes he's not. But he is a very, very good goalie, man. He's a very, very good goalie. And he is a huge reason why the Rangers are really, really good still. But depth issue, I think that might be the biggest problem for the Rangers. If Panarin can keep scoring, man, playoff time, Panarin, where are you? That's 2 years in a row. I get you scored the game overtime, whatever, game 7 overtime winner against Penguins. You were absolutely horrible in the playoffs. I'm sorry. You're absolutely horrible in the playoffs for some reason. I don't get it. Because of Jad, he's been doing his thing. But Panarin needs to step up when it comes to time in playoff time. He needs to come in clutch, and that is not happening. Number 8, guys, is going to be the Los Angeles Kings. I'm really high on this team. I really do think this Pierre-Luc Dubois trade is going to be huge for them. He's a great player, and he plays the Kings way. That's why I think this player is going to make this team that much improved, because he plays the way that the Kings play. Kevin Fiala, if he can have a full season, that'll be huge. He's a very good goal scorer. Andre Kopitar, we know what we're going to get from him, man. He's an unreal player. Kopitar is. Philip Deneau is very solid. Kempe, 40-goal year. We all know how good Kempe is. He's probably not going to score 40 next year because he has more competition in the lineup that will be taking more goals from him. But who cares, man? He'll take 30 goals and have Pierre-Luc Dubois, whatever, score 30 goals. You know what I mean? Victor Arvidsson, very solid player. Trevor Moore, very solid player. Lazat, he's actually a pretty damn solid player for being 4'9". But Quinn Byfield, I do have a question mark about him because he's a very good player, but is he gonna be like another Lafreniere? Like, okay, he's not getting the right minutes. He's gonna have to be in the top 6, right? I would put him in the top 6. Maybe he can play at a left wing role. We'll see what they do with Quentin Byfield, because that is gonna be a huge question mark for this team, because he is the huge future for this Kings, man. He's a very good player. 20 years old. He could be a very good player. Arthur Kaliyev, very solid as well. What is happening with Alex Turcotte, by the way? He had a lot of hype coming out of USA, and he hasn't really done nothing. But I don't know how good Turcotte is. I think he might not get a sniff in the NHL. But the defense, it's all right, man. Drew Doughty, Gavrikov, Michael Anderson, Matt Roy. It's not the best. Let's be real here. Brant Clark, he's supposed to be very good. So hopefully he can take the next step or take actually a full-time NHL role. That'd be huge for him. But other than that, guys, I think the huge issue, the number one issue for this team, why I'm kind of worried for putting this high, is the goalie situation. You have Phoenix Copley and you have Cam Talbot. Cam Talbot did not play the greatest last year in Ottawa, and he's also 36 years old. And Copley, he hasn't shown much either. Let's be real here. That is going to be a huge issue for this team. I'm telling you right now, this is like the big reason why they're not winning that extra round, why they're not winning a round in playoffs, why they're not getting higher in the standings. Goalie situation, plus that equals with not having the greatest defense. Their defense is not the greatest. And having an iffy goalie is not helping that. Obviously, they're trying to maybe be like a Vegas Golden Knights, having an Adin Hill in that. But Vegas Golden Knights had a top 3 defense in the NHL with a very good lockdown potential, with not having grade A chances. I don't think this defense is not letting grade A chances every night. They're good defensively. Their forwards do buy in on the defensive side of the puck. That's why I do like them. Kopitar is a very good two-way forward. That is very good for this team. Goalie situation. That's going to be the biggest thing with this team. If they could produce and play really well in front of him, teams are going to go far. That's why I have them this high. Number 7 is going to be the Vegas Golden Knights, the Stanley Cup champions, guys. This team is really good, but obviously the Stanley Cup hangover might be a thing, and the teams in division did get better as well. I'm not saying this team's bad. This team is very good. You still have Jack Eichel. How's Mark Stone going to do with his back? He's not going to play a full 82 season. You know that. We all know that's going to happen. He's not going to play 82. He might even play only like 60 or something like that. Who knows? He might go on IR and make a trade for Crosby and come back during the playoffs. Who knows? But Jonathan Marchessault, very good. Carlson, very good. How's this team in the locker room going to do without Riley Smith, one of the misfits who were on this team since day one? How are they going to do without him? Obviously, he was one of the boys. He was one of the locker room gels. How are they going to do without him? I still think it's going to be good because they do have a very good captain leadership roles in this locker room. They do have very good captains in this locker room. Pietrangelo, Stone. I feel like they're not going to let that happen. Marchessault, they're not going to let the team get out of hand. The depth is all right. Nicolas Waugh is obviously very good. Ivan Barbashev, can he produce like he did last year? Marchessault, and Eichel had a perfect connection together. Hopefully they can do that for the entire 82 next year and maybe go back to back. But bottom 6, Michael Mario solid, Paul Cotter solid, Dorofiev is solid, Kolesar is very good fourth line, Carey's very good fourth line, Brett Howden's very good fourth line, Stevens very good bottom 6 as well. It's very solid bottom 6. Defense is basically the same. Pietrangelo, Martinez, Theodore, McNabb, Whitecloud, Haig. Very good, man. Very good defense. Obviously, you have Adin Hill and Logan Thompson. I'm telling you right now, Logan Thompson will be taking over this net than Adin Hill. I said this since day one. Adin Hill had a great playoffs, but he's not going to do it again next year. I'm telling you right now. It is a Stanley Cup, clutchness. He's not going to do it in the regular season. I'm telling you right now. Logan Thompson is going to take that crease over, and if he stays healthy, he's going to win over that net forever. I'm telling you right now. Other than that, guys, this team is very good and has a good chance of winning the Stanley Cup. I put them a little lower than they should have probably because the teams above them are just better, in my opinion. They're just better built. Number 6 is going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs, guys. I think they're going to get 109 points. This team Obviously, he has a lot of question marks. A lot of people are literally iffy about them. Are they going to trade Nylander? Are they going to trade Matthews? Is Matthews going to resign? Is Matthews going to sign somewhere else? How is this team going to do with Colton? Your defense got worse. Blah, blah, blah. Everything's going to be around Toronto. That's just how it is. This team is very good. Matthews, obviously. Tavares is unreal. Marner's unreal. Very good season last for Marner. Nylander even played really good next year. Now they added Bertuzzi and Max Domi. Added a little physical depth to the team. Obviously with Reeves too. They got physical. They got more tough to play against. I get it. Obviously their top six is not going to be tough to play against. Obviously, their top six with Marner and Nylander and Matthews and Tavares, they're not going to be super, super physical. But if you add a Bertuzzi in there, if you add a Bertuzzi or a Domi in there, they're going to be a little more physical. And you have to keep your head up a little more. Okay, like I might get blown up here, or Domi might sucker punch me. Like you got to be a little iffy about that. And obviously, Ryan Reeves, people say, oh, is he going to play playoff time? It depends who you play. If you're playing a Pittsburgh who's just straight speed, you're not going to play him because like there's no point. Like he's just gonna get dusted out there. He needs to play 4 minutes a game and maybe lay one big hit, or he's gonna take 2 penalties. Like it is a big question mark with Reeves. But if you're playing at Boston, you want that physical strength on there that can match up with their fourth line and play some physical and get you some energy in the building. You guys need that because you guys really never had that. Maybe Noel Chari sometimes laid that big hit. Pierre Engvall maybe laid that big hit. Now, or like a Matt Martin laid that big hit, right, and got some energy. Now Ryan Reeves can do that. Obviously, guy signed a long term, and not long term, he signed him for a couple years, and he's obviously 36 years old, something like that. Yeah, he's not the greatest hockey player. He's really, really bad, but he has his ways of bringing energy to the team. He's gonna be a huge locker room guy, make the team closer. That's what Ryan Reeves does to his teams. Solid depth. Matthew Knies, I think he's gonna have a great season next year. Is he gonna compete with Bedard? It's possible. I doubt it. But he's going to have, 40 points next year? And that's not bad for Matthew Knies. I'm going to be honest with you. That's not bad for him. So I think this team's going to be solid. Defense did get worse. Morgan Riley, Brody, Klingberg. Klingberg's a good addition for the offense. He's not a very good defenseman, but he can put the puck in the net. That can help Morgan Riley. Taylor, Liljegren, Timmins, Giordano, McCabe. It's not the greatest defense in the league with Samson out of net, which is a big question mark as well. So I don't know how I feel about Toronto. The fours are unreal, and maybe that could overweigh the defense, but we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens to Toronto, but they're going to be very, very fun to watch. Number 5 here is going to be the Colorado Avalanche, guys. We all know how good this team is. 111 points, I do think they'll get. They're in the easiest division, like I said before. They're going to be competing with the Dallas Stars basically the entire season for first place, but Stars Avalanche, man, they obviously do not have Landeskog for the entire season. So that is a really, really tough loss for the Avalanche. You have Rantanen still. You still have McKinnon, obviously. You have Nichushkin. Hopefully he can produce like he did the year prior because he's a very, very good player. Lehkonen's solid. Ryan Johansson, hopefully he can produce because he is a very good depth scorer if he's playing with the right people, man. If he's getting the right minutes, right ice time, right spot on the ice, he can put the puck in the net. Ross Colton is a very good player, man. He's a very good player. Miles Wood, you got to sign him long term. And he's not the greatest at hockey, but he does give energy, and he will go nonstop forward, man. He has that gas pedal on him. He has that gas pedal and no brakes. But he's all right. You have a low risk, high reward with Jonathan Drouin. He's back with McKinnon, so maybe that will make him better, man. Maybe he can play like the self that we know he can early on in his career. Maybe he can get back to that with his junior teammate in McKinnon. Hopefully that would happen. That'd be huge for them, man. Huge for them. If not, it is what it is. Just 1 year. Defense here, obviously you have Kel McCarr, Giroux. You have Kel McCarr. You have Gerard. You have Josh Manson, Devon Taves, Bowen Byram. That's a cheat code defense, man. That's a cheat code defense. Unreal defense, man. Unreal defense with some offensive scoring power as well. McCarr, Giroux, and Gerard. Very, very good defense. Very, very good. Goaltender situation might be an issue. Georgiev and Francouz. Georgiev was solid, but obviously in the playoffs, he wasn't the greatest, right? Francouz, he's hit or miss as well. I think that's a big issue. Defense in front of him is very, very good, so I think that's where they can develop and be good in front of those two, and that'd be huge. Obviously, it could be like a Vegas situation where your goalie doesn't need to make this top-tier saves. I think that's what happened when they won the Stanley Cup with Darcy Kemper. He didn't need to make those top-tier saves. You know what I mean? He was just an average goalie that just made the saves that he needed to. You know what I mean? Other than that, obviously, it does help if Landeskog can come back playoff time. I don't think it's going to happen, but there might be rumors about that. Who really knows? But this team obviously has the offensive firepower, and they have the good defense for them. That's why they're this high. I feel like there should be no debates why they're this high. Number 4 is going to be the Edmonton Oilers, guys. They have 112 points that I'm going to be predicting. Obviously, you have Connor McDavid, you have Leon Draisaitl, and you guys are built for the regular season. I'm going to be honest with you. You guys have a very good regular season team. Like I said, with a lot of these teams, Goalie situation. How is Stuart Skinner going to do? Playoffs, he had good moments and very bad moments. Jack Campbell as well. You guys paid him a lot of money and he did not produce. But obviously in the playoffs, when he came in for Stuart Skinner, he showed he made pretty damn good saves against Vegas Golden Knights. He played pretty damn good hockey sometimes. But in the regular season, he really didn't show that. Defense, I don't love this defense. Matthias Ekholm, very, very good. Very, very good. And a lot of you guys are saying Darnell Nurse is good. He's not a good defenseman. Let's be real here. $9.2 million for a long time, and he's not that good. Obviously, people are saying, oh, he plays with Cody Ceci. He didn't play with Cody Ceci his whole year, and his whole career, and he's still not the greatest. Let's be real here. He's not the worst NHL defenseman, but he's not a defenseman that should be making $9.2 million. But Brett Kulak, the defense is not the greatest. Evan Bouchard is obviously unreal. Very, very good defenseman. So you do have some pretty good defensemen. It is not the greatest, especially with a weaker goalie, and might not be a good idea for success, having an defense and an goalie, right? But obviously, Evander Kane, hopefully he can stay healthy the whole year and produce, because he's obviously a very good player. You have Zach Hyman. He's going to do good next year. He put up 70 next year. Can Ryan Hopkins put up 100 points again? Obviously, 99 of them were on the power play, but obviously the power play is going to be completely elite again, so I can expect him to have high 90s again. Other than that, Janmark, solid. Holloway, solid. Who else do you have? Obviously, you do have the low risk, high reward in Patrick and Connor Brown. Very, very good in his early on his career. Obviously, he did get that really bad injury last year, so hopefully he can come back from that fully. And if that is, guys, oh my God, he's gonna be perfect in the top 6. Maybe, I don't think he's gonna slide down to the bottom to the third. I don't think he will. But Connor Brown is unreal, and if he can come back to his former self, it's gonna help this team out a lot, because McDavid and Draisaitl need the help goal scoring, and I think he can provide that. So once again, just like the Maple Leafs, defense and goalie might be an issue, but I would not be worried about this team. This team is very, very good, especially in the regular season. Number 3 here, guys, is gonna be the New Jersey Devils. This team is really, really good. You guys already know how I feel about this team. This team is so, so good. Super, super young. And look at these. You guys didn't add anyone, but you guys didn't need to add anyone. You have Timo Meier, Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt, Nico Hischier, Andre Palat. You still have Eric Haula, who played really, really good last year on that third line center role. Very, very good. Dawson Mercer, who's going to take the next step. He's only 21 years old, and he's a very, very good goal scorer. Bastian is solid for bottom 6. McLeod is solid. Lazar is solid for bottom 6. Nosek, very bad player, I'm being honest with you. Nolan Foote, bottom 6. Good bottom 6 depth, and a very, very good top 6. Top 3, top 6. Probably, is that a top 3, top 6? That's a very weird sentence to say. Is it a top, I'll say top 5, top 6 of this team. Top 6 forwards are very, very good. Defense it's damn solid, man. It's damn solid. You have Dougie Hamilton, very, very good. Marinos, who came into himself really, really well. Siegenthaler, who's solid. Colin Miller, he's all right. Brendan Smith is all right. Ball is pretty damn good. Luke Hughes, hopefully he can play a whole season next year. I hope he doesn't start in the ACL or get scratched. I hope not, because he's a very, very good piece on this team. And once again, guys, like I've been saying before, goalie issue might be a thing here in New Jersey. I don't really trust Vitek Vanacek. I don't check him. I don't trust him, man. I don't trust him. I trust Schmid. Do I trust Schmid? He's a young goalie that showed good glimpse last year in the playoffs. Obviously, he did get kind of exposed against the Hurricanes, but you can't really blame him, man. You can't really blame him. He showed that he can win up games. He took over that Rangers series and won them the series, basically. I think he takes over the net. I think he can take this net and keep the crease forever with the Devils team. Hopefully, the defense in front of him can play solid. I think they will. And I think Schmid will be the number 1 goalie. Probably a quarter in next year. I think they're going to give Vanacek the crease first and have Schmid be the backup. But I think Schmid will take over once Vanacek starts being bad. So hopefully, as long as this team stays healthy, this team is one of the teams to beat for sure. And the Stanley Cup could definitely be calling their name next year if they stay healthy, man. That's a huge. Obviously, you can say that about every team, but you need them to stay healthy with this team. Number 2 here, guys, is going to be the Dallas Stars. This team is so good. Easy division. They're only competing with the Stars, maybe the Wild. But other than that, guys, this team is so good. You have Jason Robertson, who's going to take the next step. Robe Hintz, who's so underrated, by the way. Very underrated. Obviously, you have the older crew with Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin. They're not the greatest anymore. Ben had a rough playoffs. He really did have a rough playoffs, but they could still produce 60 points a year. They could definitely produce that again. Ryan Suter on the back end, he's not the greatest anymore. He needs to get out of here. Estlundale's solid. Miro Heiskanen is unreal defenseman. Hankaval is solid. Nils Lundqvist is solid. Harley is solid. This team is going to be very good, guys. This is going to be a very good team. Obviously, there's no goalie issue here. You have Jake Ottinger on this team, who's a very good defenseman. Obviously, in the playoffs last year, actually, he did not have a good playoffs, and I think he will bounce back. I'm going to expect him to bounce back for this team next year in the regular season and have a better playoffs as well, because he honestly did let down the Dallas Stars against that Golden Knights series. He did not play his best brand of hockey that we know he can. So I think this team's going to be solid. I didn't even talk about Joe Pavelski, Faksa, Duchesne. A huge addition with the Duchesne. Very low risk, high reward with him. 1-year contract. He's going to produce 60 points next year. He's going to score 25. This team is so good. And they got better depth, guys. This team is definitely the best team in the Western Conference, in my opinion. Now, the number one team, guys, it's going to be the Carolina Hurricanes. This team is the team to beat, in my opinion. They're such well-built, well-coached. This team is such well-built, well-coached. Obviously, they don't have a superstar goal scorer. I get it. Svechnikov is damn near close. Sebastian Aho is unreal. Teravainen is unreal as long as he can stay healthy. Basically, the whole team stay healthy. Jordan Stahl signed long-term. Fast is still here. Nietzsche is still here. You have Michael Bunting. A lot of people are like, oh, like the refs hate him. Maybe. I don't think Brind'Amour is going to allow Bunting to be a clown anymore. I think he's going to button him up, and he's going to make sure he does not care about that brand of hockey anymore. He's still going to be physical. He's still going to be kind of a pest, but he's not going to be yapping at the refs anymore. I feel like Brind'Amour, and honestly, even like the whole captaincy of the team, Jordan Stahl is not going to let that happen. Like Slavin's not going to let him do that anymore. You know what I mean? They're going to stay. They're going to try to ground him, if that makes sense. I think they're going to ground him. He's a very good player if he's well grounded. So the depth on the team is very solid. Let's go to the defense, it's not even fair. It's not even fair. Dmitry Orlov, best free agent last year, signed him, of course. Jacob Slavin, unreal defenseman. Brent Burns, very good defenseman still. Brady Shea, pretty damn good, solid. Brett Pesce, very damn good. Anthony DeLangelo, solid. Coughlin, solid. Chatfield, solid. This team is unreal, man. This team is unreal. Goalies, Frederick Anderson, Kochekov. I know Kochekov could be the future, but I feel like Anderson is the goalie now, but he does have a big injury history in the past, so maybe Kochekov might have to take the net, and hopefully not, because Frederick Anderson, we need to see him in the playoffs, man. We need to see him in the playoffs. But this team is just well built, well depth. Top 6 is unreal. Top 4 D-men are unreal. Even the top 6 D-men are unreal. Goalie situation is not the greatest, but you don't need to be the greatest when you have that D-man in front of you. So this team is definitely the team to beat. I think they're definitely number 1 in the NHL. I feel like there's no debates on that. Hurricanes are number 1 on my list, guys. Long video, but comment down below what you think about these teams and who are your rankings, guys. Who are your rankings? Sorry for the long video, but I will be doing another one of these right before this season starts with the playoff ranking, with the division ranking, all that kind of stuff. So make sure to subscribe, guys. It really does help it a lot. Comment down below how you feel about your team. Do you like the ranking or not? Obviously, things will change, but thank you guys for being here. Much love, guys. Be great, and I'll see you guys later.